I guess I'm live. I hope this video sounds great. I hope you guys can hear me good. It's a little bit of an echo. I hear that, but I gotta work on this echo thing. I'll work on that for you guys. All right. So my name is Alex. Welcome to my live from Pereira. I have my headphones on because I want to be able to make sure the sound quality is good. I'm drinking a little bit of tequila right now just so I can get the cojones to to go live. Usually, I edit all my videos prior to doing any of this stuff. Usually, I go ahead and I pre-record everything. As you guys, if you guys follow the channel, you guys will be able to see. I edit all the videos and all that. But today, I've been asked to go live, so I want to go live. I want to go over some of the things that I love and some of the things I hate about being an expat here in Colombia, Pereira, especially in this coffee region. I will try to answer any questions in the meantime that you guys may have, but I want to get right into it. I've never done a live like this before here through KGYT, and first time. Welcome. If you guys are watching, if you guys are interested in becoming expats one day, hopefully this guides you a little bit and it helps you out in seeing what an expat life is. And that's the reason I started the channel. I started the channel because I wanted to kind of give a glimpse of what a family is. Because you see a lot of these vlogs and they're single dudes and single women and stuff like that. And they're going out to party and dancing and telling you how they're not going to get robbed and telling you how beautiful the women are. Yeah, you know what? That's all great. I am not about that life, right? There's nothing about me that I'm going out to parties. I'm not going out there trying to pick up women. My wife is not going out there to pick up men, I hope, right? I don't know, right? She's not. She's not. Just if she sees this, babes, I love you, all right? But I've been asked that maybe we should give you guys more info. So without further ado, I want to get into it, all right? I wrote down the 5 things that I don't like about Colombia or Pereira since I've been here. And all right, I know I've probably mentioned this in the vlogs that we put up on our channel. And if you haven't seen our vlogs, subscribe, so you guys can get updated on any of the vlogs we bring up or we put out there for you guys to watch. All right. So, all right, enough. All right, let's get into it. All right. Number one, guys, I don't know if you guys know. You know what? Let me start off first with the bad, right? The bad, the ugly, the stuff I don't like about living as an expat here in Pereira, Colombia. All right. Number one, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but we're foodies. All right. We love to eat and we love to eat good cuisine. Like that's one of the guys. I don't know if you guys seen the vlogs, but we're always eating out. All right. We're always out there eating. And that's why we always stay safe because we go to restaurants, we eat at good places. We're not, going into no neighborhoods that we're not supposed to be in. You got them. You got them all over the world, right? But we like good food. We enjoy that stuff. We enjoy going and eating great food. Okay, but with that said, okay, the food here is bland, guys. It's bland, right? Because most of the food here is very typical, right? And I don't know why they just don't put a lot of seasoning in a lot of stuff. So I always have to ask them for, hey, you guys have salt? Can I get some salt, please? Usually the beef is basically very bland. Rice is usually good. I don't know if you like rice or not. I enjoy rice. But let me see. Okay, thanks, Jay. Get your popcorn ready. Cheers. I got my tequila ready. Let's get this one going. All right. So the food is bland, like I was telling you guys. You always have to ask for salt, pepper, if you like to taste something. If they warn you, if you ever come to Colombia and they warn you, hey, listen, that stuff is spicy. I don't know how you deal with spice. I don't know. All right. I enjoy spice. Like, I like my food not Indian style spicy because that stuff can go, or Mexican style spicy because that stuff can be really hot. Okay. In Colombia, you don't have nothing to worry about. If they tell you it's spicy, it's not going to be that spicy. It's probably like Taco Bell spicy, maybe. I don't know. But it's not going to be that spicy. All right. And so don't worry about if they tell you it's spicy because it's not going to be spicy. We go to this restaurant. It's in one of our vlogs. It's in Tuk Tuk. And it's a Thai restaurant. One of our favorite places to eat. They bring out a spoon and it has like all the spices and stuff like that. It says, listen, be careful. It's going to be spicy. Guys, my son, my wife, and I, we literally grab the spoons and we just go, we just pour it all in. Because we enjoy the spice. We like that spice. Okay. And it's not spicy at all. Okay. So if you go to a restaurant, just if you like seasoning and you don't like that bland kind of food, always ask for the salt and pepper. And if you like spice, nothing here is going to be spicy at all. All right. It's even if they tell you, hey, be careful, it's hot. It's hot. All right. Just eat it. It's going to be totally fine. Now, if you're in Mexico and they tell you, hey, listen, that's spicy. Listen, that's just going to be spicy. All right. It's going to be super spicy. So just make sure that in Mexico, you adhere to the warnings of it being spicy. Maybe in India, I've never been, but I've heard they cook with a lot of spices, right? Here in Colombia, not spicy at all. All right. Number 2 of the things that I don't like. The motorcycles. Literally, motorcycles here have free reign. They can do no wrong. They can do whatever they want. And it's not that I'm player hating against them, all right? Because they get to go through sidewalks sometimes. Sometimes you see them going through the bus lanes. They're cutting you in traffic. That's the part I don't like. Is they'll cut you right in between. All right, quick story. When we first got here to Colombia, right, my wife and I, we decided, all right, we're going to go to Colombia. But before we go, we want to go check it out. Even though we're of Colombian descent and our parents are Colombian, we were born in the States. Right? We were born and raised in the States. So coming here, we wanted to, actually, before we came to Colombia, we wanted to move to either the Carolinas. We wanted to either move to Georgia, out of Florida, right? We wanted to move out of South Florida. All right. We visited Georgia. We visited the Carolinas. We went, we stood there a couple of days to see if we like it, but we came across it. We're like, oh, it's the same old, right? It was just the same thing, just a different city. We wanted to try something completely different. Anyway, we said, babe, I told Paola, my wife, I said, babes, listen, if we're going to go to Colombia and we're really going to make this move and leave and move to Colombia, we got to go there and see. We got to look at supermarkets. Now, remember, we're not coming here to party. Right? I mean, we've been to great parties. We've been invited to multiple events. It's always been fun. The people are really cool and all, but we still want to come and see how our family could adapt because we like certain things. You know, we like we said, we're foodies. So we wanted to go to the supermarkets. We wanted to tour schools. We wanted to see neighborhoods. We wanted to see properties. We wanted to see if Colombia was going to be in. Anyway, we're driving first week, right? We're here. We came down for 4 days. We're driving around and all of a sudden, guys, if I tell you, it must have been like 20 motorcycles. They just surrounded the car. They came around. They just surrounded us. Now, that car had no tint. It was a rental that we had. And they just surrounded the car. Like, imagine you're driving. Now, remember, let's be here. Okay, let's be here now. Okay, we're coming from the States. You're coming from the States, most likely, if you're listening to this live video, we're coming from the States, right? Whole bunch of motorcycles surround you. I looked at my wife. I went, babes, they know we're American. You better be ready to fight because they just surrounded us and it's about to go down. And we're at the red light, right? So they just came right around, right? I'm looking around, but nobody's really looking at us, right? But they're like, we really can't go forward anymore if the light turned green. If it turned green, it was still red. They were on the sides, they were in front of us, they were everywhere, right? And I'm like, all right, listen, I practice martial arts. I don't know if you guys know that or not. You can see in some of the vlogs. I can't fight 3 or more people, let alone 10 people on motorcycles. And it was the evening, so it was really getting kind of dark. It wasn't even in the morning, because in the morning you can kind of understand it. Anyway, I have my son in the back. I have my wife on the passenger seat. Of course, as a man, protector of the family, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? Am I going to have to run over all these people? I'm in a different country, mentality, third world, and let alone before we came to Colombia, we spoke to some of the Colombian family we had in the States. And we're like, hey, listen, you guys know us. What do you guys think, of us moving to Colombia and stuff like that? They would always scare the shit out of us. They would tell us, your son's going to get kidnapped. They're going to know you're American. You're going to get robbed. It's horrible. You guys, the way you guys dress, they're going to know who you guys are. This and that. And so I have all these thoughts going through my head, and I'm surrounded by motorcycles. Light turns green, they all take off. It's a natural occurrence, right? Now I'm used to it. Now I get to a red light, motorcycles come in, because here in Colombia, like I just told you guys, and my number 2 pet peeve is that motorcycles can only do what they want. They can hot dog through traffic. They'll cut you. And supposedly, I'll knock on wood, I never got into an accident here. Try to drive very precautious. If you hit a motorcycle, it's your fault. If you're driving, right? If you're driving and you hit a motorcycle, it's your fault. So you're the one who's going to have to pay, or you're the one who's going to be held liable for it. But these guys, they go through, there's like these express lanes, but not for cars, just for the mega buses, what's called the mega bus. And they go through they'll go right through it. They're weaving out of traffic. They're cutting you over. They're doing this. They're doing that. It's horrible. Oh, and when we travel to some of our favorite places, just like you guys saw when we went to Quindío, when we get to the tolls, motorcycles don't have to pay. They go on the side and they go. So it's not a bad option, actually, if you move to Colombia and you get a motorcycle. It's cheaper. You can get around the city a lot quicker because you can do whatever the hell you want to do anyway. You can just hot dog through traffic. You can do all that stuff. And when you're going to travel from state to state, let's say you're coming from Armenia, you're coming to to Pereira, or vice versa, and you have to go through the toll, which the toll is almost what? I think the last time we paid was 19,200. So it's like, I don't know, like $4 or $5. They don't have to pay. They just go through a side thing specifically for motorcycles, and they just go right through. So if you come to Colombia and you want to get a motorcycle, I think it's a good thing. If you want to be a rebel, you just want to drive everywhere. I don't have one. I've been thinking about getting one just for some days where I think it's going to be one of my other pet peeves. I only have 5 pet peeves that I have, the things I don't like about Colombia. And I think that's another one is, and I know I've spoken about this on the vlogs, is that they take your car away once a week. In Pereira, I heard in Bogota, they take it away 2 days a week. They don't literally take the car away, but they do. So you're not allowed to drive the car because of traffic. Okay, I'm going off a little bit. This wasn't on my list, but you know what? I'll put it on the list now. It's in there now. Check. They take your car away. You can't drive your car when we first got here, you couldn't drive your car from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you had a 4 hour, I guess in peak hours, you couldn't drive your car. And then from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., you couldn't drive your car. Now it's from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So you can't drive into town. That's done, taken away, it's over. So in Bogota, I heard it's like 2 days. And it all depends on your license plate. So if you like our license plate ends with an 8-9, that means that we're not allowed to drive our car between on Fridays from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. That stuff is done. You're grounded because the county or the city or the state or the country or whatever it is, they didn't do a good infrastructure. So there's only like one lanes or, and the cities, it's tight. So, we have too much traffic. We're not going to go ahead and build a better infrastructure. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take their cars away. But here's the other part. A lot of people say, you know what? I don't want to have to take public transportation. I don't want to have to go ahead and not drive or take a taxi. They just get a second car. Some people have that luxury where they can get a second car or a motorcycle. That could just, here's what it says. Here's one of our comments. Pico y placa. People that could just bought a second car don't think it helped traffic much. Yeah, Jay, you're absolutely right. There's still tons of traffic. People just buy a second car. Everybody has to drive, even though public transportation seems to be pretty good and there's always a taxi. You can always grab a taxi anywhere, but there'll be less cars if this rule wasn't implemented or if they made a better infrastructure. There's this road, right? It's called La Condina, right? And it's a beautiful road. There's no traffic signals. It's beautiful. You see the whole landscape, the whole mountains and everything. It's beautiful anyway, but it goes around the Expat In Pereira. There's no pico y placa down that way. It's only in the main city. Anyway, you can't make a left. Let's say there's some apartment buildings and there's some small malls on that avenue, on that throughway. And if you come out of them, you can't make a left. That's bad infrastructure. So in order for you to come out and go, let's say north, if you're south, you can't make that left. So you have to travel down like 2 or 3 miles south or north, whichever way you're going, right? Then go around the roundabout and head back north or south, depending on where you're going. So they put these cone barriers so nobody can make a left. Yeah, those cone barriers, you know how they are, plastic, you can just hit them with a car. That's what they did. People are getting into accidents there all the time. People are dying because everybody says, you know what, I don't have time to go travel down 4 or 5 miles to be able to go around the roundabout and then head back up to the same way. So you know what, I'm going to come out of my building and I'm going to just turn left. Or I'm going to come out of the shopping center and I'm going to turn left. And you're not allowed to. So it causes actually more traffic. See, in the United States, if a new community opens or a shopping center opens, they usually have to fix or they have to actually pay for the road for easy access in and out of that major, but especially if there's 100 apartments in that building or there's a shopping center with 50 stores in it, they have to be able to accommodate people making that left, or at least a traffic signal, a stop sign, or a better way of making a left. Right here, they don't think about that, so they punish you. They punish the actual drivers. All right. Number 3, here's another thing, right? My pet peeves. We spoke about the motorcycles. We spoke about the food being bland. All right. Number 3 is people here in Colombia tend to be very scared. Right? They tend to be very scared. Like there's always barbed wire. There's always electrical fence across their properties. People are always scared, and I think it's a mental state because people here are really good. Like I've never had any experience with any danger or anything like that. But it's like people just seem to be more frightened of everything. And I think when you're in that state of mind, like more bad things tend to happen. And people are actually really good. Like people here are not bad. Like I never feel like intimidated or scared that someone's going to try to rob me. I mean, I keep an eye out, I just because, but somebody told, oh, be careful, you can't be walking around like that. One day we went to Circunvalar, right? Which is one of the main streets here in Pereira where you have nice malls, good restaurants, nightclubs. It's a really good street. Anyway, we're there like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're doing a vlog. And we have the camera out, and we have, I carry around this camera. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it is my vlogging camera, right? Anyway, I'm walking around with the camera, and a taxi yells at me, "Be careful, you're gonna get robbed." But that's the fear now. Somebody that wants to get into that mental state, like, oh my God, people are gonna rob me. So now you're gonna attract that because that's what you're constantly thinking about. If you're constantly thinking about getting robbed, you're gonna get robbed. That's the way I see it. If you're constantly thinking about getting a ticket, you're gonna get a ticket. If you're constantly thinking about finding a better job, you might get a better job, right? But it's where your state of mind is at. But here, everybody's like, oh, people are gonna rob you. People are going to do this. So everybody is always distrustful of everyone else. So if you're going to buy something, if you're going to go into a plaza, people are just always mistrusting of everybody. But people here in Colombia, actually, they're pretty good. They're honest. They're hardworking, just like any other country. Like people in general are really good. Yeah, you have your bad people, but when it's dangerous? Not as a family man, because I'm a family man. Like that. Listen, guys, this is what I do. I stay home. I'll serve myself a little drink. I'll hang out. That's a good night for me. I'm not going. You're never gonna find me in a bar. You're never gonna find me in a nightclub. You're never gonna find me out at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when it's dangerous. Anywhere. That's when people get drunk. That's when the freaks come out at night, guys. The freaks come out at night. Okay, but if you're coming here with your family and you're gonna be visiting good places, you're not gonna be out at 3 o'clock in the morning with your wife and son or daughter. I like to stay home. I like to do a nice barbecue. I like to eat at home. I like to have my drinks at home. It's a different setting. Now, if you're coming here single, most likely you're going to be going out to parties, or maybe not parties, but bars, nightclubs, and you're going to run into some of the freaks at night who may want to take advantage of you because you don't look the part. Because you look like, when I come out, I kind of look alike, right? Because my family, my ancestors are Colombian, but I don't dress like them. I may dress a little bit different, so I'm going to stand out. Same thing with you. You come from the United States. Like I can tell Americans, like me and my wife will be driving and there'll be an American passing by. And I can just pick them out. Or an extranjero, a tourist. You can pick them out because they stick out like a sore thumb. Here's what we were told. That's a dead giveaway. So if you ever come to Colombia, this is how you tell everyone you're not from town. All right. Number one, Americans always have a book bag on. Okay, that was the funniest thing. Then number two, Americans, we always have a banana and a water bottle with us. All right, and when they told me that, the funniest thing was that I actually had a banana. All right, I pulled out a banana. I was eating a banana. So Americans can be pointed out easily, or they stand out. One, banana, water bottle, book bag. Right, hiking boots. Okay. Those are dead giveaways, right? Because nobody walked. Actually, I ran into an Australian at one of it's like Home Depot's called Home Center here. And he said, man, the cops stopped me because of my book bag and they made me empty everything out. They wanted to search everything. The book bag's a dead giveaway. And I could understand why a book bag, because if you're traveling, if you're coming here to travel and maybe you're staying 2 nights here, 3 nights here, whatever, most likely you're traveling around with a book bag, right? But when you're going out into town, Americans just like to put on their book. Oh, we're going to go into the city, and they travel around with a book bag. So that's a dead giveaway for Americans, right? And they caught me when they said banana. I went, oh shit, I fucking have a banana too, right? So, all right, let's go over some of the comments people saying. Here's another comment. People haven't been able to fully get over the 80s and 90s. It was horrible then. Times have changed though. Yes, times have changed. So yes, the 80s and 90s, it was horrible. I grew up in New York. I was born and raised in New York, Brooklyn, right? And the 80s and 90s, they were dangerous, super dangerous. But then it got better. Same thing here now. I cannot speak for other cities such as Cali, Bogota, Medellin. They're a lot bigger. So you're going to get a lot different types of people, you know. You can, when there's more people, you know, the probability of there being a crazy in one of them, it's a lot higher. Here in Pereira, it's a little bit smaller. You know, it's just a little bit smaller. So the crazies are out there, but you can pick them out. Like, listen, that motherfucker right there is crazy. Right? He's crazy. Stay away from him. Right? But it's not really scary. Right? I mean, I don't find it scary. Right? Let's go through another comment. Okay, this is funny. Sandals and tank tops are dead giveaway in Cartagena. Yes, it's actually sandals. All right, you know how they pick me out? All right, they pick me out because I always wear shorts. Right, I never wear jeans, and Colombian men here always wear jeans. I went to my son's graduation. There's a vlog on it on our channel. I went to my son's graduation. I went in shorts. I always wear shorts. I hate jeans. I'm either in sweats or in shorts. And so that to me is a dead giveaway. I don't do those sandals as much, but tourists, yes, you're 100% right, Bravo. Tourists, for some reason, they walk around in either hiking boots or sandals, right? That's a dead giveaway. You'll never catch anybody in the city, like walking around here, at least here in Pereira. I mean, I assume Cartagena and Santa Marta, which is more of a beach city where the coast is at. We're not in the coast. Pereira's in the middle of the mountains. Like, we're nestled here in the mountains. It's beautiful. And that's one of the ones of the things I actually like here. Okay. And we'll go over that later. But I guess if you're in the coast, like in Florida, you wear sandals because the beach is there. You jump in some, you get invited to a barbecue. Most likely you're going to jump in the pool, you know, so you're going to be wearing sandals. Here, you don't wear sandals. You don't wear shorts. You don't wear book bags, hiking boots, unless you go in hiking. That's different, right? But that's a dead giveaway if you are an American, and that's when it can become dangerous because now they call something here, they call it giving papaya, right? So here in Spanish, it's dando papaya, right? I think even though a book bag, sandals, shorts like me, is not really, you know, showing off that, you know, you got money and this and that. No, I think it's just another, you know, extreme of giving papaya because you tell them, hey, listen, I'm really not from here. And, you know, I can be an easy target. So maybe that's one way to avoid not sticking out like a sore thumb. Okay. Right. Guys, I'm always going to wear shorts. All right. So I'm going to give that papaya away all day long. Book bag, banana, water bottle, and our friend Bravo, sandals. I think that I missed that one, but sandals is also a dead giveaway. All right. Number 4. All right. So number 1 was the food is bland. Number 2, the motorcycles, free will for them. They can do whatever they want. 3, how scared people are. But I'm not talking about how scared tourists are. I'm talking about how scared locals are. Okay, that's what I was saying. Like, they're scared of everything. They mistrust everyone. And what was it? Okay, number 4. Okay, guys, I have dogs. I love dogs. But you go to, like, there's a mall here. It's like the prettiest mall in Pereira. It's called Falabella. No, I'm sorry. Arboleda. Falabella is inside of Arboleda. Arboleda is the main mall. It is on La Circunvalar. It's beautiful. It's really a beautiful mall. Like it's in comparison to a mall in the United States. Like it's really, really nice. It's safe, good restaurants. So that's where I go. Like if I'm gonna go shopping, I'm gonna go to Arboleda. Even though my wife and I sometimes will just go into El Centro, like into town, and you walking among the people and La Plaza Bolivar is there. Guys, it's freaking awesome. I love it. And then you walk into all these stores and you see all the souvenirs and you see all the, don't buy sneakers there, right? Because all those sneakers are not legit. They're not real. They're not real, right? But dogs, okay. Arboleda. People bring their dogs in everywhere. Like I can understand, the girls with the little cute toy dogs that they carry around. That's different, right? But guys, I've seen Great Danes, Huskies, um, Ridgebacks, like just big dogs. Just the other day, we went to the mall. We went to go eat, and there was, I think it was a boxer. He was walking through, and this gentleman had a Ridgeback. Guys, Ridgebacks are big. They're big dogs, right? Supposedly they hunt like lions or something like that in Africa. I don't know. And these two dogs are just going, "Roar." They were just going at it. Now, this is inside of a mall. Okay. So you can imagine how loud and it's scary because listen, Colombians are not really that tall, right? Like average height, supposedly I think it's like 5'5" to 5'7" for men. So here I feel tall. Okay. In the United States, I'm not tall, but here I kind of feel tall. And like, you're holding back some of these big dogs, and you don't know if they work out, if they're doing weights to hold the dogs back. But they'll jump in the elevator with them. And the elevators are small, and you have like this big dog just in there. Guys, there's a place to take your dogs. And then there's places where, it's like humans. How about if a kid's walking by and we don't know if a dog snaps and bites a kid? No, kids are sometimes they just go up to the dog. Oh, it's you teach your kids, but why put yourself and put someone else in danger for having dogs like in these places? Like, listen, I get the dogs, I understand that, but I don't like it. I don't like walking into a mall. I don't like walking into a restaurant and seeing a big hairy dog right there, like a husky or a Saint Bernard. Little toy dogs, I don't mind. They do bark a lot, but I want to go have a nice, peaceful dinner. That's my pet peeve. That's mine. That's me. All right. And number 5 of things I don't like. Then we're going to get into the things I actually really enjoy here in Colombia, right? Number 5, the disregard for their own lives. Here's what I mean by that. Okay. Here in Colombia, you have these roads, right? And it's not like the States where it's straight. I come from Florida. So in Florida, the roads are pretty much straight and you can just drive along and it's kind of boring. Here it's not boring. Driving here, it's like this, right? And it's usually one lane. So cars are just going against way to get ahead of a motorcycle, because motorcycles here, the biggest bikes you really have here are like maybe like 200s, right? But the average is about 125 cc's, 150 cc's. So on those uphills, when they have their kid, their wife, and their dog on the motorcycle, listen, that motorcycle ain't going anywhere. That motorcycle sounds like an electric toothbrush, right? I remember I had a motorcycle in Florida and I had a Honda Shadow. And we were on the Palmetto in South Florida. I don't know if anybody out there knows the Palmetto. We're in the Palmetto. We're heading towards the beach. We're heading towards Fort Lauderdale. Anyway, we're my wife is in the back. I'm in the front. We're driving on the highway on the Palmetto. We're going, and guys, I'm hitting it, right? Because it's a straight road. There you can hit it. I'm hitting it. I'm trying to get it. And all of a sudden, 2 Harleys, they just pass us easily. And I had an 800, okay? Once those bikes passed me, I turned back to my wife and said, babe, we need a bigger bike. Like, it's not even, you can't even, like, these bikes are dangerous here. Like, you and I driving, like, we really can't keep up. Like at 70 or 65, like you're pushing it. Here, that's an 800. Here, and it's flat. So you're not even going uphill. Here, everywhere you go is uphill. Wherever you're going, there's going to be an uphill. So if you're on a 125 bike, we're talking about motorcycles, right? If you're on a 125cc bike, on a 150, even a 200 bike, and you have you and another person behind you on the bike, that bike ain't going fast at all. And here you drive at about 30, 35 miles per hour tops, right? Like if you do 50 here, 50 miles per hour, like that's super fast. Like that's really fast. Here, you're doing about 35, 30, average 20, 25. And it's not because of the vehicles. Just you just can't. Either a motorcycle is getting in front of you, and that's why people tend to go around. There might be a bus, people trying to go around, but then they go against you one way. They come against you. So motorcycles, you'll be driving, and then all of a sudden they just come in, and it's like, guys, I don't want to hit anybody. Like that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to hit anybody. But it's the disregard for their own life. But then when they're going against way towards you because they're trying to pass another car, sometimes they'll do it like on a curve. So you can't really see until it's too late and the car is already coming at you. You cannot even say the disregard for other lives because that's even not even feasible when they're not even taking in regard their own life. You know, Colombians, they are amazing people. Like they're really good people. What I say is they're amazing until they get behind the wheel or they jump on a motorcycle. Then they don't give a rat's ass about themselves or anybody else. So they'll cut you. If you ever come to Colombia, don't take this personal, okay? The traffic lights. Traffic lights. In the United States, when you come to the corner, usually the traffic signal is across the avenue or in the middle of the avenue. So when you come to the white line on the floor to stop, you can clearly see the light in front of you. Here, the light is literally right up here. So if you come up, I've already learned, so now I don't come up to the front, I actually stay back, but then that causes all the 125s, motorcycles, and the 150s to come in front of the car. So now when it's time to go, I have to wait for all of them to go. But otherwise, if I stand in the front, like on the actual line where you're supposed to stop, how we're used to in the States, you literally have to take your head out the window to look up at the light. But at first, in the United States, you don't really honk at anybody, you know, except if you're in New York. In New York, you honk at everybody. And you can flip people off and no one's going to tell you anything. In Florida, you don't do that. In Florida, you don't flip people off and you don't honk at people, right? It's like it's considered rude. In New York, it's not. Here in Florida, it is. Here, I was in Florida for 21 years, so I started finding it rude if people honked at me. I'm at the red light. I forget. First time, you know, I was new still in Colombia. I would pull up to the light. I can't see the light. All of a sudden, the person behind me can. So the minute the light turns green, they give you a little beep, a little honk. At first, I found it rude. Now, I just wait for it. They let me know when it's time to go. But I've also learned that now I don't pull up all the way to the white line. I actually stay back about a car's length back in order to be able to see the good traffic signal so I can take off. So that's one of the pet peeves, right? The disregard for their own life. Can't even say my life because if they're not regarding their life, what regard do they have for my life, right? But outside of the once they get out of the vehicle, they're the greatest people in the world. Like they're awesome. They're friendly. they really like Americans. Like that's what I came across. Like they really, and if you're American, like they want to show you everything. Like when we first got here, um, we would go to the fruit store. They know us. We never been there, and they knew like yeah, these people are American, right? Plus, me and my wife, we always speak in English, right? It's our first language. We always speak in English. We can speak Spanish perfect. We're fluent. We can read it, write it. We're fluent in Spanish. But when we go to this, we can speak Spanish perfect. We're fluent. We can read it, write it. We're fluent in Spanish. But when we go to the store, we speak English. People know. We're like, hey, here, try this fruit. But it's not a bad thing. They want to see your reaction because you've never this fruit here. You've never tried in the States. You've never tried them. There's all kinds of guavas. There's all kinds of fruit. Guys, I can mention like there's a fruit called zapote. It's amazing, super fibrous stick, and it's amazing. I've never found that fruit in the States. They might have it in some special places that you guys may know of. I never saw it. So when I first got here, the fruit guy said, "Hey, try this. You ever try this?" I'm like, "No." They knew it must be a Colombian fruit, right? Guys, amazing, amazing, amazing. All right. I let that off my chest with you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing all that. But here are the things that I really like as an expat living here in Colombia. Number one, came to find out most beef here is grass fed. Love that. In the United States, you go to the supermarket, you got to look, okay, what's grass fed? What's not grass fed? Is this grass fed? Okay, that's grass fed. Okay, this is not grass fed. And grass fed is usually more expensive. Here, for the most part, all beef, at least in this region, I can only speak for this region, most beef is grass fed, right? I assume they probably have these farms where they give it grain and all that stuff. But most beef here is grass fed. The opposite side of that, the beef's going to be harder, right? Because when you feed something grain, you're going to have more fat in the meat, and it's less lean, so it'll get caramelized a lot better when you put it on the grill or when you cook it, right? The grass fed, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of mountains here, so cattle are not really on flatlands. I'll pass by some of these farms, and I'll pass by the farms in Florida where we live in Lake City as well. Well, we don't live there. Then when we go there, and it's flat. See all the cows eating in the pasture is all flat. Here, I pass by, you'll see a cow 2,000 feet in the air. Well, not in the air, but in the mountain, up high, right? That means they're trekking up that mountain, walking up. Then they're walking down. They're building muscle. So the meat tends to be a little bit harder, more muscular. Okay. Grass fed beef. Two, I think I went over this already on the things I don't like, but the people here are awesome. The people here are great. They're friendly. They want to get to know you. They want to teach you. They want to help you, and they want to tell you to be scared. Okay, but people here are really cool, except when they jump behind the wheel of a car or they jump on the motorcycle. All right. Three, it's not really dangerous. Yes. So somebody said in the comments that that everybody still has that stigma from the 80s and 90s when they're all blowing everything up and all that. Yeah, it's not that dangerous, guys. People seem to be more scared. They still have that stigma. It's right. Jay is right. They still have that stigma from the 80s and 90s, but it's safe. It's actually pretty safe. People are good. Nobody's ever trying to stick you up, rob you, anything like that. Of course, if you come here and you want to mingle because you're single, you're going to get into different scenarios. As a family person, like I am, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going out to bars. I'm not going out to nightclubs. We go to restaurants. We go to the gym. We come back. We go to the supermarkets. We go out to nice restaurants. We go to safe malls. We don't give up pie except for shorts, but it's not dangerous. All right. Number four of things I enjoy here as an expat. Now, I don't know where you're watching from or where you live at, but where I lived at, whether it was in New York or Florida, it's flat, right? You don't see anything. Everything's flat. Just look up, right? Maybe on top of a building, you can see the nice skyline. Here, the topography here, it's freaking amazing, guys. Mountains, mountain ranges, like you're driving down and above the buildings, you just see the mountain ranges. Like I try to tell people, like the only place you can really see that is probably like in Colorado. I've never been to Colorado, but I assume maybe the Carolinas and the Smoky Mountains where this mountain is. But like if you live in Miami, if you live in New York, you're not seeing any mountains. You just not. Everything's flat, right? Here, guys, the views are breathtaking. Like sometimes I have to stop and be like, Jesus Christ, like I'm actually seeing this. Like I still can't get enough of it. It's always there, but I can't get enough of it. Like it's picturesque. Like it's really a beautiful thing to say. I try to catch it on the vlog. It just doesn't do it justice. I mean, seeing it for yourself, it's absolutely amazing. All right. And number 5, in my region, I don't know about Cartagena and Santa Marta. It's got to be, tropical, more beachy. But here, the weather all year long, here in Pereira, here where we're at, in Pereira, the weather here all year long, it's spring. It's never winter. It's never summer. You know what they call winter here? When it rains a lot. You know when they call summer here? When it doesn't rain. That's their winter. And that's so one day speaking to a gentleman, and he goes, man, we're going through a hard winter. Because it had been raining for like a week. Every day it's been raining. Like, man, we're going through a hard winter. That's their winter, but it doesn't really rain all day. What's the temperature here now? Let's see. Temperature here is, just so you guys can actually see live what the temperature here is. Pereira right now, it's perfect human weather. It is, I don't know if you guys can see that. It is right there, 78 degrees, 78 degrees, right? It's perfect. Like it's perfect. You can wear a sweater outside. You can wear a t-shirt. You can wear jeans. You can wear shorts. Right? I always wear shorts. That's what I do. But the climate here, amazing. Amazing, guys. It's amazing. All right. I thought I was probably going to talk for about I don't know, 10 minutes. We've been going on for 46 minutes. Read the last comment. Also, my friend who is a local, the reason why they drive that way is because they have to show everyone they know where they are going and how to get there. It actually makes sense. Kind of makes sense. I just feel like everyone's always late. I don't know for what, because they're late anyway. But people just, when they jump behind the wheel, they just don't become the friendliest people in the world. And Colombians are actually they're pretty cool people, man. Like they I assume everyone I was speaking to a friend in the United States, he goes, yeah. I told him about he's been to like Cambodia and other places out in Asia. And I said, how's the people there? He told me one thing, and that resonated with me and it stood with me forever. And he said, people are people. Everybody just wants to have a good time, have a drink, and enjoy themselves. At the end of the day, that's what Colombia is. And I think here in Colombia, they like to enjoy themselves a little bit too much because every other week, it's a holiday on a Monday. They have a 3-day weekend. Right? Every other week is a 3-day weekend here, so they really enjoy it. What's up, Joy? How you doing, girl? So I wanted to talk for only 10, 20 minutes and tell you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we went over 5 things I didn't like about living here as an expat. And now I went over 5 things that I really enjoy as an expat here that's still, and there's more stuff that I know I want to go over with you guys. And I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think I should be doing more lives like this where we kind of have a conversation and you guys can ask me questions and we'll go back and forth? If you're ever thinking about becoming an expat, here goes another one. Cost of living. How much do you think you need per month to live over there? All right. It's a great question. Let's go over it. Okay. It comes from J720. Everybody's cost of living is going to be different. Right? Everybody's cost of living is going to be different. Here's where we stand. Right? And I'll leave it out there, right, completely for you guys. I'll put it on the table. We were a 3-person family: wife, husband, child. Child goes to private school. He goes to a school that's bilingual, English and Spanish. So we wasn't going to put him in no Colombian school because that would not have been fair to him, being that when he got to Colombia, he understood some Spanish and we spoke to him. But then we said we can't do that, so we have to keep him in Spanish and English. And his friends, I want to be able to see the vlog. We just went, the last vlog we put up where we went to Parque El Café. His friend's birthday was this week, so we took him both to Parque El Café to have a good time. We didn't go on any rides because I was feeling like shit that day. I said, babes, this vlog's gonna be horrible because we're not gonna be able to show any of the roller coasters. I enjoy roller coasters, but my body was in pain. All right, forget about that. I just sidetracked. Let's go back to the cost of living. All right, cost of living. Our cost of living here, we're trying to keep it at about $3,000 a month. And that's including everything. So we don't rent, insurance, car, gas, food, child, school, gym memberships, cell phones, light, gas, water. We're trying to keep it between $3,000 and $3,500 per month. That's what we try to. Sometimes we're really good and we don't go out to eat as much anymore. We actually enjoy cooking at home. Plus, I got a nice grill now. I don't know, it's in one of the vlogs where we put it up and we grill. I grill. I try to grill every day. I enjoy it. It's fun. So we used to go out to eat a lot more, and that can raise the price more, even though going out to eat is cheap. It's not really, unless you go to a really, really nice restaurant. And even then, we went to sushi the other day. We spent like $40 for us 3. So kind of gives you a thing. But that's our cost of living here, right? In the States, man, guys, in the States, Jesus Christ, in the States, our monthly, if you're a family of 3, if you have more than that, I guarantee that you have mortgage, insurance, gas, cell phones, light, entertainment, because you have to entertain. You have to put that into the cost of living, right? Your entertainment. In the States, we were shelling out about $10,000 a month. In the States, in Miami, where we were, Miami, we were shelling out about $10,000 a month. And here we're looking at about $3,000 to $3,500. If we do good, it's about $2,700. But we try to keep it at that. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see another question. Miami 78. It's hot compared to Colombia, but I still need AC in Colombia except Bogota. All right. Tell you guys a little story about that. That comment came from Brian. All right. When we first got here, me and my wife we're home touring. We're touring a whole bunch of homes, right? So we're walking around. We're going to this house, we're going to that house, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh man, look at all these houses, they're beautiful, this and that. And but I look around, I don't see AC units anywhere. So I look at my wife like, babes, I don't think I can live here. I'm coming from Miami, right? I'm coming from Miami. And in Miami, everywhere you go, you have central AC. Hold on. Get a little sip. That's good. And coming from Miami, I was used to having central AC. I feel comfortable with it, right? Well, here, we live in the mountains. So you get that mountain breeze coming in. At nighttime, believe it or not, I actually have to cover myself. It gets chilly, 62, 63, 64. Now, we just moved to this house about 6 months ago, right? And one of the first things I did, you guys won't be able to see, but homes here don't have ceiling fans, right? So one of the first things I did was I installed a ceiling fan. Oh, it's in one of the vlogs. I have it on one of the vlogs where I installed the ceiling fan and I got hurt in the head and all that stuff. Anyway, I installed ceiling fans. Now, here's a bad thing about living in Colombia with no central AC. And that is that you get a lot of humidity, right? So you get a lot of mold accumulation. So let's say, for instance, this closet, the behind us. If you have clothes, which you're gonna have clothes in the closets, right? You have to either put like baking soda inside, or you have to open up the doors every so often. Because last time I took out a shirt, I looked at it like, what the? It had, oh, I'll show you this. This hat, it's a leather hat. I have it hanged up. I leave the windows open here throughout the day, so fresh air comes in, right? But let me show you what happens. Hold on, give me a second. Let me show you guys what happens. Check this out. Right, I don't know if you guys will be able to see or not, but look at the hat. This is a leather hat, and it's a leather hat, and you see the mold on it. Look at the mold that starts growing on it. See if I can clean it off. I have a rag. I had a rag around here. I don't have a rag. Maybe I have a napkin. I think I have a napkin. There we go. All right, look. See the mold? You see that right there? All right, I have to clean it to take the mold out. All right, you see that? How nice? It came out better now. But you see the mold? So that's a bad thing here, right? Since there's no central AC, and properties are not weather sealed. So in the United States, you got to have insulation in the walls. The windows have to be airtight. Guys, there's nothing airtight in these properties here in Colombia. The other day, I was sitting here in this office. The door was open, right? And I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, guys, a freaking bat came around me and went right back out. I'm not scared of bats. My wife is terrified of them. She doesn't like them, right? But then all the windows were closed, because at a certain time we closed the windows just because the mosquitoes start coming in, right? But then, like, you know mosquitoes at what time they come in, like at dawn and at dusk. But throughout the night it's cool, and throughout the day you don't have mosquitoes, so you can keep the windows open. Anyway, the bat came in. He went right back outside. Not outside, like outside into the house. I said, the bat's got to be around somewhere, right? So I come outside. I'm looking for that bat everywhere. The bat disappeared. I don't know where the bat's at. Bat must have left through a crevice in the door, through a crevice in one of the windows that we have outside. It's just so. The properties here are not airtight, so a lot of humidity comes in. And also, these walls, you guys won't be able to see the walls, but I've shown you guys in previous videos on the vlogs, the walls are concrete. Concrete sweats, so it creates moisture. So things tend to be a little bit damper. It's more damp. So I'm not going to put a ceiling fan in every room. If this was my house, I would. I rent the house, but if it was my house, I would probably install a mini split throughout the house. Probably put like 3 or 4 throughout. I would also put ceiling fans to make the air move throughout. I just have a ceiling fan in our main bedroom upstairs, which you guys can see in one of the vlogs. I put a ceiling fan on it, and there's no moisture or bad stuff in our bedroom. So we sleep with the ceiling fan on, just to avoid so it can just dry up the walls and stuff like that. I'm not saying they sweat, but then you'll start looking around, man. You know what? Maybe I'll do a vlog on that one of these days. But there's a couple of spots where you start seeing the mold just start growing. So things do get moldy. So when you come here to Colombia, if you're ever planning to move here, and you go to a property and you see mold on the wall, like in the United States, you see mold in the house, you're like, yeah, fuck that, screw that, I'm not getting this house. Here's like, oh, it's normal, but in the United States, if you see mold, the property's airtight. So usually, right, people don't really open up their windows. You should, so you can let the freon gas get out, but people don't really open up their windows. So the mold particles stay in the air. Then you have the AC unit going and circulating the air around. So that's bad for you. Here, nothing's airtight. So the air can get in, can get out just as easily as the moisture can get in, the air moisture. Okay. So, let's see. Here goes another question. Weighing all the good and the bad of living there. Do you see yourself staying long term? All right. Great question. It's a good question. And that's something, all right. There's days, guys, there's days I wake up and I'm like, man, I freaking love this place. I'm never leaving. This place is amazing. All right. Then there's days I wake up and I get that itch. I want to go back. I want to go back. I want to go back and drive these nice straight roads, especially in Florida, right? Straight roads. Cars respecting the traffic laws, which here they don't. That's something. But we asked our son, we told him, dude, what do you want to do? Do you want to finish school here? Do you want to go back to the States and finish there? He's like, yeah, no, I think I'm good. I want to finish here. So he just finished ninth grade, right? In the States. Here, it's eighth grade. He just finished because they go back when I explained that in the other video. Hopefully that made sense. But he has at least 2 more years here, 2 to 3 more years here in the school year. So I think then is when we'll make a decision of whether we want to go back or we want to stay. Right now, I'm stuck because my passport, I got an emergency passport. I took it back to Bogota. I handed it in. So now my passport's not valid, and they're going to ship my passport where I'm at now for in about 6 weeks. So I'm stuck here for 6 weeks in Colombia. I had to go to Bogota, go to the embassy, do the whole thing. And so now I don't have a passport. You have to hand it in, of course. And I should be getting the passport. So, God, you know what? Right now, we're very comfortable. We really enjoy it. Maybe one of the things that we've spoken about, my wife and I, is that we want to either, we would, here's the perfect scenario for us, all right? I'll let you guys know. Perfect scenario for us will be owning a property here in Colombia and owning a property in the States. I don't think I can stay here long term without going back. And I don't think I can stay in the States long term without coming back here. So my perfect scenario would be living here 3 to 6 months, going back to the States, living there 3 to 6 months, coming here 3 to 6 months, going there 3 to 6 months, having my house there with my belongings, which I wouldn't Airbnb that would be my personal home. Now when we go back to the States, we stay at one of our Airbnbs in Lake City. If when we're here, of course, we have the house here, but my main goal would be to travel back and forth every 2 to 3 months. Now I get the itch every 2 to 3 months. Every 2 to 3 months, I'm like, yeah, I want to go back. Then I get there, I'm happy, I'm in the States. It feels like I'm back in civilization. I'm like, yeah, man, this is awesome. Man, look how beautiful the infrastructure is. Everything is amazing. But then I get about 2 weeks in, which I go there for like 10, 20 days sometimes. Now it's getting shorter the time I'm there because I have to do less work, right? Before last time I went, I stood there for 2 months working on the properties. And, now once I get here, you see the streets are not as well lit sometimes, especially at night. Like if you get into Pereira at night, when you're driving, sometimes the streets are not well lit. You got the motorcycles going in, and then I look around and I'm like, man, this place is so fucking ugly, But it's so beautiful because of its non-perfection, if that makes any sense. Like it's so beautiful because like when I get to Lake City, now Lake City is completely different from Miami. It's like another world. I get there and there's nobody walks. Like you see somebody walking, I'm like, yeah, that guy's a bum. Like he's walking down the main avenue in Lake City, or somebody's doing exercise. Here, you come outside, there's people everywhere. It's like New York City. Like New York, I don't know if you guys been to New York, or you live in New York, or you live in a city that's very walkable. Like in New York, you go there, there's people walking everywhere, right? Remember, I lived in Miami for 20 something years, and we went back to visit New York, and we're driving, and then we see some dude just walking across like the one of the main avenues. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, what the hell? Like, because it just became a normal to me to see people walking since I came from Miami, right? Miami, also where we lived in South in Miami, in one of the suburbs of Miami, people didn't really walk. People drive. It's too freaking hot to walk anywhere. And it's not just hot, it's far. And the public transportation in Miami sucks, right? But here, streets are buzzing with people every day, everywhere. Like, we live something called campestre, right? Which is kind of, houses more with more terrain and grounds, and we have a beautiful, like, we have bamboo trees behind us, and we have hummingbirds coming around, and right next to us we have a farm, and we can go buy fresh squeezed milk, right? We get like a 5 liter gallon, and they squeeze the milk right out, right off the literally right off the cow. We come back, we boil it, and then we drink it. Anyway, even here in this campestre zone or area of Pereira, there's people walking. Oh, come on, there's people walking everywhere, right? You don't find that. Like, I lived in this neighborhood called Palmetto Bay in Florida. Nobody walked. Nobody walked. You saw somebody walking, it was because they were doing exercise. A mom with her stroller, right? But no, you don't really see people walking. And that's why in Florida, you're allowed to make a right. Like, if you get to a red light, you're able to make a right because nobody's really walking. So it's easier. You're not going to kill anybody. Now, in New York or here, people walk all over the place. So that's the reason you can't make a right on red lights, because you might hit somebody because people have the crosswalk or the right of way. Here, people are walking everywhere. So I miss that. It's an energy that you can't explain. Like, when you go into town, it's buzzing with people, buzzing. People are selling food. People are selling stuff. People are yelling here. People are talking here. People are bringing people into their business. You got old people walking. You got young people walking. You got old ladies, old men, young kids from all walks of life. You got people with their backpacks and a banana walking around. You guys know what I mean by that. All right. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk that we went through. I wanted to talk for about maybe 10, 20 minutes, but I don't know if you guys know, but I like to talk a lot. I can just keep talking forever. Sometimes I got to shut myself up. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't done so, if you found any value from this video, this content, like, subscribe, right? Send us a comment. You see any of the videos, send us a comment. I'll answer you, right? I'm still small enough where I can answer any one of your questions that you ask in the video. It's going to be us who's going to answer. But once I hit like 5 million followers and I get like 5 million comments, I can't answer all 5 million comments, right? I'll look like freaking Jim Carrey in that thing, answering all the prayers, right? Great live, keep it going. Good content as usual, guys. You guys are awesome. Maybe I'll do two of these a week with you guys. Hang out. You guys can ask questions. We'll go back and forth, and I'll try to make it a little bit better. Maybe put some stuff up. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. Always try to make it better. In the meantime, cheers, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.